It was two hamsters.
And two hamsters.
Two hamsters.
Marvellous.
I'll just stay quiet while you do it.
No, oh, no, you... Go on, you do your intro first.
I don't really have an intro. Like I
now's
said,
the...
you're the one who's doing videos.
Well, now's a perfect opportunity to try and figure it out if you have one. No pressure.
Trying to remember what my Twitch stream name is.
Oh god, I don't know what your Twitch stream name is. Is it Dead Trigger? Is that the one? No, it can't be.
Yeah, but it's got a bit more on it, so I'm just trying to look for it now. Can't remember.
All this is going in, by the way. I ain't edited. This is going to be one of those unedited things that I just throw out there.
I'm invading my... Oh, shouldn't say.
You're invading... Oh.
That scared me. No, it's alright. I opened Twitch up because I was looking for my name and it started a video without knowing. And it played from over headset, which freaked me out a little bit. So
yeah, I'd like borrow a sound effect in the background.
No, because I just heard a guy shouting. I was like, "Where the fuck's that coming from?"
What's this?
And it was on my headset. Yes, I'm invading your video again.
Yes.
Feel free to find me on Twitch _dead_trigger JR94, which I believe is also my Instagram for this one, but I don't use it, so don't bother.
Wow.
Twitter, I think, is possibly the same. Might not be, not 100% sure.
I don't
Haven't
know
checked
either,
in a
mate.
while.
I've got a confession. I only follow you on Twitch.
I don't follow you on anything, so it's fine.
You're an arsehole.
Do you follow me on Twitch? Have you
think
followed
so.
me on Twitch?
I
What
think
a
I
sado.
have. Well, you told me to, so I did. I was trying to be nice.
I'm gonna have a look at my. How do I find my followers?
I don't know what I don't know. I've got.
It just says free followers. It doesn't actually tell me who's following me. That's upsetting. If anybody knows how to check that, let me know. So I want to see if this guy actually follows me. So I don't think he does, but you know.
I promise you, I think I do.
Unlikely.
Anyway, so that was your high octane introduction, was it?
Yeah, well, it is 11 at night, and I'm trying not to be too loud and too energetic. So my usual nighttime routine of playing Animal Crossing and watching a video on my phone has been interrupted because I'm now on your video.
Hello.
So there's a timestamp for people watching. It is actually 11 at night on the Sunday. So yay.
Right, so moving on swiftly. I'm inverted over. That's James. That's all I've got to say. All we're going to do is chat. We're going to do is we've got a format sort of at this point in time, which is he says something scandalous. I usually disagree with him, except for the last time, and then I say something, and he agreed with me last time, which really freaked me out.
I don't remember what your opinion was.
Neither can I. I think it had something to do with trousers.
No.
Anyway.
Doubt it.
I've got a good one. I've got a good one today. So you start and we'll have mine.
Oh, well, I don't have one to start with.
You always have something to start with.
Okay. Hang on, because something I've seen a few times now over the last week or so, a couple of weeks actually, is the Days Gone developer. I mean, he don't work for a company anymore. He's left, so he's got no opinion on it anyway. But he came out telling people that if the game don't get a sequel, don't complain if they're the ones buying it at discounted prices or getting it for free.
That guy. Yeah.
I'm just, what is wrong with you? Why would you even come out saying something like that? The reason people don't purchase games at full price is because you end up in a cyberpunk situation where the game comes out and it's absolute dog shit and people have wasted their money and then they can't get it back because a nondescript game shop that you can trade in at will barely give you any money for it. So you spend 45 quid on a game, you then try to trade in and you get a tenner back.
It's the No Man's Sky thing as well, isn't it? Because No Man's Sky came out,
Yeah.
It was utterly barren of all gameplay. It was just a grind.
It's just ridiculous. But the point that he's trying to make is that he's saying games shouldn't be discounted at any point.
Yeah, he's saying full price from beginning to end.
What a moron.
That is a stupid thing to say, though, because games age, and you know, like like any film
Yeah.
as well. You don't pay full price to see a film that's 20 years old. You pay a fiver.
No. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I like some old films. If you look at the Mission Impossible films, I absolutely love the old ones. But I'd never go and pay
Sorry.
full
You
cinema.
like Mission Impossible 3?
I liked all of them. I loved them all. I thought they were great.
Mission
It's
Impossible.
to be fair, I could watch Tom Cruise sprinting across a field and just find it funny. But no,
Yeah,
I love all of the Mission Impossible films. They're all really good. The second one's a bit, but other than that, I
I
loved them
thought
all.
was
They're
3
great.
the one with the virus?
No, that's 2.
Ah,
3 is
so 3 is the
three's
one with the rabbit's foot. Right. Okay.
Yeah, and break into the Vatican.
Yes.
That's,
Yeah. 2 is
yeah.
two
No,
is the one with that bike chase
yeah,
where
2 is the
where
yeah, I can't remember her name who plays the girl in it, but yeah, she injects herself with a virus at the end. It's
Chimera.
like, you moron.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is just that one's just a bit, meh, but it's still good. It's still a good film.
I think it's meant to be like an American James Bond, that one, isn't it? Because that's a very James Bond storyline.
Yeah, but you're never going to get a James Bond from America, though.
No.
It just doesn't work. They tried with Jason Bourne, and it's a completely different film.
I think Jason
So-
Jason Bourne's based on a book series, isn't it?
Yeah, Robert Ludlum.
Yeah.
Love the Jason Bourne films as well, so I don't know why I've tried to stamp on them, but no, Bonds are very particular. I don't think you could have an American Bond.
If you want,
just won't work.
If you want to do some stamping, I'm afraid it's going to have to come back down to Tom Cruise again with Jack Reacher. Because
I love them films.
I've got the
them.
books. I've not got the books. I've got 2 of them.
See, this is something that pisses me off, because I can see you're about to say that the books are better than the film.
I'm not about to say the book's better than the film. I just don't think they should have put the Jack Reacher name against them.
Yeah, or whatever.
If they'd have just called it anything else.
Let me ask you this, then. Let me ask you this. The Harry Potter series,
yes,
and ignoring all the
fact
sort
that
of
I
stuff
hate the
about
Harry
the
Potter
writer and all
series.
this,
Yeah.
fair enough. So you're not very useful for this question, man.
Just ask me the question anyway, and I'll pretend.
No. I'll do it with a series that you're probably more into.
No,
Tom
stop.
Clancy.
Okay.
But the Tom Clancy one's probably a bit of an easier one because it relates to gaming as well.
It does, because Pandora Tomorrow was the best
Great
game.
books, great stories.
Long.
Great
books,
games.
fucking hell. Yeah.
Good-ish movies, depending on which one you watch.
Yes. Yeah.
There's the Jack Ryan one, which is the Shadow Recruit movie, the one with Chris Pine in it.
Which is let's just forget that one exists for now.
No, it's a middling film. That one for me.
It was never designed to be successful. It was designed just to make money. Because Chris Pine had just done the Star Trek stuff at that point in time, so he was a well-known face. Because the first Star Trek film did very well.
Was that after Star Trek?
It was. Sure? I think it came out the year after. Let me just Google. No. Sorry, let me just try and remember.
Yeah, whatever. Shadow Recruit came out in 2014.
Star Trek, even though I've spelt it wrong.
2009. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was before or after, to be honest. I can't remember how old Shadow Recruit were. 2014, really?
Yeah.
I still like Chris Pine, but we covered that the last time, so...
I like Chris Pine, but Chris Pratt would beat him to a pulp.
Chris Pratt is either douchebag who does Guardians of the Galaxy.
Though he has got that, is it Tomorrow War coming out soon, which looks good.
Can't stand him.
No?
Really can't stand him. He's just one of those, he makes me feel a bit gross whenever I watch him.
Isn't his girlfriend the one out of, isn't one of the Schwarzeneggers?
Because that's going to make a difference. Just, why would I care? No, he's one of those actors that I watch and I just find him really cringe-worthy to watch. I just don't find him funny. Didn't he go into didn't he go on The Office at some point? The American one.
He was in Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec, that's it. Yeah,
he was in it before he lost a lot of weight from that, because before he did Guardians of the Galaxy, I think he weighed like twice as much as he did, and then he beefed up a bit. And in Parks and Rec, they made a joke about how all he did was cut out coffee.
Well, credit to him. I mean, he seems to be getting some decent work, but I can't watch him. I don't like him. He's one of those who he tries to be funny too much, and it sometimes at the detriment to everybody else in the
He's
film
trying to
or
be
movie
too
or
Robert
TV
Downey
show.
Jr. is what I think you want to say. Because
Yeah,
Robert Downey Jr.'s got that
there's
on-screen persona that just works. You know, Sherlock, for instance.
Yeah.
He's not even trying in Sherlock.
I don't think I've seen anything with RDJ in it, but I don't like. Well, I've not seen everything. Don't get me wrong, I've not seen everything, but I don't think I've seen much of him. I've never watched the Doolittle movie that I did, just because I don't think I'd like that.
Do you know after he did the
Um,
Doolittle movie, it flopped so hard he said he would go back and play Iron Man for half the wage. It wasn't a
don't
great
surprise
film.
me.
They tried to make an action film out of a film based on a guy who could talk to animals. That should really tell you how lost that film was. It didn't know what it was.
See, I keep seeing because of the area of Instagram I sort of live, I get like a lot of polls come up on people's stories of like, would you rather do this or that?
Yeah.
And one that comes up quite regular is, would you rather speak every language or talk to animals? Now, every time I pick one, it's like a 60-40 split for talking to animals. I don't get why you would want to. It's dull as fuck.
What, talking
Who'd
to
want
animals?
to speak to an animal?
Yeah, because
Yeah, I'd rather speak every language.
It wouldn't be a sentence that makes sense to us, would it? Because a
It's-
dog
it's
doesn't think
pointless.
like we do. A dog, if you could speak to it,
No.
would probably be like trousers, bone, play, run.
Well, my
master.
dog's a complete moron, and it's sort of like,
I mean, you can
I don't think he
communicate
has
well
a
enough.
full thought.
You can communicate well enough
I
with
can
an animal.
communicate with my dog well enough, and it listens
Yeah.
to me. I don't listen to him back because he don't talk.
And
Obviously, why would I want to speak to animals? What's the point?
And what happens if all animals turn out that they hate us? They just have to do what we say due to some sort of inbound nature. You know, they're just looking at us going prick, prick, prick,
Hierarchy,
prick, prick,
isn't it?
prick. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
Every
the
language.
only reason I could think.
It's every language.
The only reason I
down.
could think of the ability to speak into an animal would be if you could have an eagle, like in Assassin's Creed. The only thing I could think of that you could use
the eagle, though. That's like a psychic connection between an animal and a person.
Yeah, which is just we're not going to get into that now because that's a bit of a difficult conversation. But yeah, that's pointless. But the ability to talk to them, to be like, to actually give them instructions, to be like, right, okay, I need you to go over there and fly and see if I can spot something. That'd be quite cool. But other than that,
it wouldn't help you very much, though, because the eagle would just go shout back, going, "Yeah, I can see people. How many? I don't know. I can't count because I'm a fucking eagle."
Yeah, I don't know, but why people pick talking to? I'd rather speak every language because I could really.
I hate
do with that, to be honest.
Being British, I hate the one thing. There's a few things I hate, but one of the things is people learn English all over the world, and then come here and they can speak English quite well. Obviously,
yeah,
some
but
people
we don't learn.
We go abroad, all we do is get louder and slower. And
yeah, which is so upsetting.
It doesn't help us in our world of view and opinion. You know, we get Americans for being isolationist because they don't know very much about the world because America's massive.
We're not going to talk about America there. So.
No, we're gonna glaze over that little fact. But we're worse, if anything. We go to France, which is only a few miles away. And the last time I spoke French was when I was drunk outside a bar, trying to get people to leave me the fuck alone. I pretended I was foreign, and it worked. But
I think the only benefit to it is I think a lot of countries know that, or have this sort of perception that because we're British, we assume we're better than them, so they know for a fact we're not going to speak their language, so they sort of don't really care because they're not really wanting to play against it. So it's sort of like they just sort of ignore the fact we don't speak it.
You're probably
I think
right
we actually care that we don't speak
it.
I think they probably look at us as a bit stupid.
I'm going to say this: it's gone from being superior to just being stupid. Yeah, we're just
I'd love to be able to speak enough language, but well, I've tried. I mean, I tried at school and stuff like. Well, I didn't actually. To be fair, I used to miss every French lesson we had. I'd get detention on a Friday, and then a phone call on a Monday to say I'd not handed in my homework on a Monday, and then I'd get another detention the following Friday. So it was a rolling sort of thing.
I can't imagine you missing a class because you're quite. When I met you first, I thought you were quite smart, but My opinion of you has changed over the years.
The thing is, I'm knowledgeable about pretty much every subject I'm interested in, but there's only like 2 or 3 subjects I would consider myself close to an expert on. Everything else is just sort of like I've got enough to get by, so I don't really need to know much more.
It's like driving a car.
But
You
yeah, I
don't
mean,
need to know how to rally drive. You just need to know how to put the throttle down
well,
and move around
the
successfully.
three things I would say I'm close to an expert on is IT, gaming, and music. Because I can talk about all of them competently, and I could teach that quite competently as well. And when I
Ooh.
say music, I mean brass.
Mate,
So not.
you haven't got the patience to teach.
I do. I mean, I've taught IT to a few people, and when it comes to gaming, I'm quite good at. Not so much with you, but that's because you're a crap student.
Good.
Yeah, I've taught a few things before. I've taught music to people before.
I've tried to teach people before.
I've taught music, and that were quite good because that's something. The thing that bothers me is when somebody's not committed to doing it. That's when I start to be a crap teacher. It's like the second I can see that they're not committed, it's like, right, okay, well, what are you bothering doing here then? Why bother? If you're not going to be interested, neither am I. So I stopped caring.
Is that the
yeah,
moment you
it's one of it. Well, they're the 3 subjects I'm sort of knowledgeable enough to talk competently and probably teach on.
You feel happy.
But yeah, everything else is just sort of like, yeah. I mean, IT definitely.
I don't think I'd.
Considering that's my degree that I'm going for.
Yeah.
And then it's brass music is quite up there, and then gaming is something that I've been doing for the better part of 20 years.
Yeah.
Not going to tell anybody how much older I am than that, but the better part of 20 years I've been playing games, and
well, I've been playing games since the 90s, so that's going to age me a little bit.
I would say probably 99 is when I first played on any games console.
I was one of
I'm a
those
little
kids.
bit younger than you, though.
I was one of those kids whose parents never bought a console, but all my mates had them. So the only reason I went to play with certain mates is because they had a PlayStation 1 with Tony Hawk's on it, or they had a PlayStation with Duke Nukem on it, or they had Crash Bandicoot 2.
My first sort of memory of playing a games console was Home Alone on the Sega Mega Drive round at my best friend's house. And I never had a Mega Drive.
Yeah.
She did. So we used to spend a lot of time at her house. I mean, we did other stuff as well. She had the Mega Drive, so we played on that a few times. She had Home Alone, Batman, and Sonic, because everybody had Sonic who had a Sega.
Everybody had Sonic, yeah. It was just
that sort of lore.
Yeah, that goes without even saying.
Yeah, I think the first console I actually got for myself was probably Game Boy Advance. A couple of years after.
I remember
early 2000s.
I remember when I was about 12, I was on a bike ride and I found a Game Boy Advance.
That's depressing.
Yeah. Like, it was...
No, I remember having that. I've had pretty much every console since, bar the original Xbox, just because it looked horrible. The controller was awful. Don't care what anybody says.
I
didn't have a PS3. No, my younger brother had a PS3 and I used to play on that a lot.
If you had a PS3, you would forget because the PS3 was a very...
Well, he had the PS3 because he was bought that for Christmas, I believe. And I bought an Xbox 360 the following year.
I skipped the PS3, I went to Xbox.
Why? I didn't really skip it on purpose. It was more, we'd already got one in my house, so what was the point in having one myself?
Again, it was another one of those cases where I had the Xbox and a mate of mine had the PlayStation. And we just went to and fro. It was when I was in quotations here, band. It was never a band. We just went around to play music to each other for a little bit, then fuck off onto the console. That's all it was, and it was fun, and I loved it. It was a good excuse to get out and talk to people, because I play guitar in the loosest of terms now. I haven't played since I played in months actually, but yeah, that was what we used to do. I think we played Resistance. Was that what it was called? I think it was called.
Resistance.
I think it was called Resistance. It was like it was a replacement for the Killzone franchise.
Oh yeah, I know what you're on about. I played that as well. Resistance: Fall of Man.
Yeah, the first
It's
one
the game you're
was
probably thinking
the
of.
first one was okay. The second one I didn't understand, it was pointless, and the third one they were the third and fourth as well, didn't they? But they were all shit.
I only remember the Resistance on the PSP.
They did it on the PSP.
Yeah, they did it on the PSP, but I can't. I honestly
Tactics.
could not tell you anything about it. So
There was a lot of games that went to the PSP. It was like a squad control game. I know Gears of War did one.
not sure. Again, you're straying outside of my knowledge base when it comes to Xbox
I just remember
games like
seeing all this stuff in.
Halo.
I just remember seeing all this stuff in game magazines because they used to be a thing before the internet really, really took off.
Yeah. Right. I'm just opening a door, so hang on.
Opening a door.
I nearly got the key stuck. Yeah.
Why are you opening the door?
I'm gonna sit in my conservatory.
Oh, look at you with your conservatory.
Yeah, just because. Where I was set up, directly underneath the bedrooms, I'm hoping being in a conservatory. And I can't hear myself as much in here, so.
Oh, that's why I wear
it's
big
another
headphones.
bonus.
I wear big headphones because I'm surprised you haven't brought this up yet. When I talk in these things, for some strange, obscure reason, the way I talk changes a little bit.
Because you're an idiot.
Apart from that little thing.
What I should say is, would you like to go on to the comment that you said you've got a scandalous opinion?
How long ago was that? Yeah, go on then.
I'd love to know what it is because you made a big deal about saying it. So
it's the fact that it popped into my head and I was very impressed. I thought about it. And I don't know if you'll agree or not. If you agree, it's really going to shoot down this whole, it's a great thing. Because, you know, when you're like, I think this, and so the other person goes, yes, you're like, oh.
Yeah, so basically you want me to disagree with it regardless.
I hope you do.
That would make a better audio.
There's going to be, this is a two-parter, okay?
Okay.
Just to reiterate, I do like to play games properly. I like to play games without messing with them. But
okay.
I like to use cheats.
Right.
Because I like to see how easy a game could be and what happens if you're invincible, or if you can spawn things uncontrollably, or if you have essentially god powers inside of a game. You know, I like that. I like to play things properly, but I also like to play things with this random effects in them to see how a game that's not designed really to have those effects can handle it. I think a good example would be Hitman. You can make yourself immortal in Hitman. You can give yourself unlimited ammunition in Hitman. But if you were playing the game properly, you wouldn't go on a mass murdering spree. You'd have to play the game stealthy, because if you went on a mass murdering spree, you'd be killed very quickly. But if you make yourself immortal, give yourself ammunition, and then open fire in a big crowd, the crowd don't have crowd AI. They are just entities. They stand there. They react a little bit to a body, but they don't run away. They just stand there. And seeing a game break like that, I think, is quite a good thing to see, because it shows that.
So you'll be happy then with this, because I don't agree with any of that at all.
Do you like mods? Do you like mods?
Only on certain games, not
Fallout. Any other Fallout games?
No, can't stand Fallout. It's such a pointless game. I get really sick of people who are like, "Oh, it's the best game ever." No, it's not.
Fallout shit. The only thing that makes Fallout games good is when you mod them.
Well, I mean, the only game I can think of that I play with mods on a regular basis, well, I don't play it on a regular basis anymore, but Skyrim, because if you've never played Skyrim with mods on, then what the hell are you doing?
So basically Fallout with swords.
Yeah, but it's better than Fallout. It's just a better game than Fallout, I think. I do think Skyrim on its own is better than Fallout 4. If you go for the latest ones, discounting Fallout 76, because
76 is a
what
mess.
a shit show.
Yeah, I agree. Skyrim's better than New Vegas. Easy. Skyrim it's what it has, I think. It was just that breakaway from the norm. It had the lore and
Yeah.
everything that you would expect, loads of books to read and shit like that and spells, and also
Wouldn't you know, it's just started fucking raining as well.
it had
As we're
lots
talking about depressing.
It had lots
Game
and lots of
series.
mods. But yeah, cheats are the best. They really are. If you get stuck in a game, a good game as well. I'm going to bring up games like Final Fantasy 15, 14. There is a bit in that, the last fantasy one, whichever one it was. There's a bit in that where you are...
Which one are you talking about?
The last Final Fantasy game, was it 14? 15?
I don't know. The Final Fantasy games are just impenetrable for me.
Anyway, there's a bit in that where you have all your weapons taken away, all your abilities taken away.
Oh, that's the PS4 one, isn't it? And
I think it was on PC.
I know which one you mean.
And
yeah, it's Noctis and the crew.
Yeah, and you couldn't do anything but sneak around this base, gathering stuff up. And the problem was, people were like, oh yeah, but you just have to know that there's a guard there, that you've got to go here, that you've got to go there. But the thing is, these people are the sort of people who will spend 12 hours fucking around inside of there thinking, this is what you do in real life. But it's not real life. It's a game. And it wasn't even a good stealth section. It wasn't good stealth. It was very blocky. There was only certain cracks you could sit in. There was only certain places you could go. It wasn't it wasn't Splinter Cell. It wasn't shit.
I
Snake, Solid
Cell.
Solid Snake and all that. Come on, help me out here. What's that one called? It's
Metal Gear.
It wasn't Metal Gear stealth. You hid behind one block. The guard passed you.
Whoa. Hang on a minute. Metal Gear, not stealth. particularly the last one, not stealth. Don't you dare.
But
there's just no way.
You see where I'm going with it. People are like, oh yeah, but you've got to be stealthy. No, you just got to know how the game works.
I would struggle to name 5 games that are pure stealth.
Pandora Tomorrow.
Cannot think of more than 5. I'm talking recent. I'm not talking because recently the stealth genre is like this ain't for everything.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no, not really. Because they even said it for like Spider-Man, and we're like, oh, there's stealth mechanics. Yeah, but Spider-Man don't need to be stealthy, so why bother?
Not that anybody ever used the stealth mechanic. You can't say Assassin's Creed stealthy at all.
Which one is it that you could? Unity was the only one that was even slightly stealthy, giving you the option to crouch, which is hilarious.
You could argue that Dishonored.
There was more.
Dishonored was
Dishonored.
You could complete that without.
Dishonored is a stealthy game.
Hitman's a stealthy game.
Dishonored is one of the stealthy games I'll call. Hitman, if you play it properly, yeah. Thief, which got remastered on the PS4, so I'm going to use that one.
I didn't like Thief.
See, I didn't because I've not played it all. I've played some of it, not all of it, so I can't really render a proper opinion.
But yeah,
it was one of them games I didn't really get.
Getting back to my original point, I like it because it can either save a game for you. It can either save a game for you because people were getting to that point in Final Fantasy, not able to get past it because it didn't make any sense, and not completing the game.
Hard, and not possible. Really.
I'm not going to say it was too hard. I'd have finished it. It was just a ball ache. It took the pace out of the game completely because at this point in time, you'd been battle, running away from something, running towards an enemy, running away from an enemy. So basically, you've been in quite high-end situations, which were quite well paid off. But then you lost it all, which I think is a good thing to get at some point in the game, because you can get too powerful, and it adds a difficulty spike. but it didn't do anything with it. You were just in a dark room being chased by suits of armor with demons in them, but they just glowed red and screamed at you a little bit. It wasn't good gameplay. It was forced running away, and
Forced stealth.
it wasn't even good
Nobody
stealth.
likes forced stealth.
And it just needed to be not that. I mean, it got so bad that people weren't playing the game, they were giving it bad reviews, that about 8 months to nearly a year after the game was released, they gave free DLC away, which was a parallel storyline of one of the other characters doing another bit of the mission. So you didn't have to do this bullshitty bit, which nobody liked and nobody was completing because it was way too shit.
Well, I mean,
without having to go to that's where cheats would have come in handy. You just had a ghost mode or a god mode that you'd blitz through that bit and turn it off. Or if you're playing an RTS, like
see, this is where I don't agree with you, because I like cheats in games, and I have no issue with mods, really. I have no issue with cheats, but I would never use them on my first playthrough.
Oh no, I'd never use them on my first playthrough. I'd use them if I got to a section of a game which was impassable due to the fact it was crap.
See, now, I wouldn't even do that because, I mean, it's one of them.
Again, it wouldn't be on my first playthrough because you'd want to experience a game for the best wishes. But
yeah, that's the main point. The reason I play games is partially as an escapism to get out of.
Yeah. But I see people going, does anybody know any console commands for stuff? Or does anybody know if we've got any good cheats for a game?
Some kind of superhero god person.
And you see people coming back with stuff like, I know a good cheat, which is play the game like it's meant to be. And you go like that. No. This person will play the game like it's meant to be. He just wants to play the game with a factor that makes it different. You know, because if all you do is play the same game over and over and over again without ever having any random variables such as God mode or, as GTA nailed it, Riot mode, where everybody's fighting everybody and stuff like that, you would never ever experience a different game. And also, some mods, some cheats make a game completely different. And who wouldn't want that? You know, some console commands you can spawn shit in. I mean, is it Crysis? No, not Crysis. Might be Crysis. They have something called keys to the city mode where you get to do all that shit because they know it's fun.
Well, the only game I've used console commands on recently is Evil Genius on the PC, or Evil Genius 2, just because you want to play it as if you've got a shitload of money.
Yeah.
You don't want to be waiting for your money to go up. So
you want that
to build the best layer, you have to have all the money. Yeah. But I have played the game in normal story mode, and it's still a great game.
Yeah.
It's still quite funny as well.
I mean, I recently did a video where I recently did a video on Sins of the Solar Empire. I don't know if you know that. And it's got a built-in dev console where you can spawn stuff in, and you can, modify planets and spawn ships and stuff like that. And you can either give yourself a stupidly large armada, or you can set up a battle of big battles and record them and make nice videos.
I have only played that game with the Star Trek Armada mod. Never played the original because I don't understand it.
There's a good... I think I've got a few mods. There's the Halo mod for it, which I think is amazing because it changes how the game works. And there are incredible people out there with incredible knowledge on how to make things. Mod does
that. The only problem I have with the mod is that you can't play any of the tutorial stuff. So as soon as you install the Star Trek mod, there's a tutorial in the base game, but as soon as you download the mod for it, it gets rid of the tutorial. You can't play it. It's quite annoying because when I first played it, I downloaded the Star Trek mod before I'd played the tutorial, so I had no idea what I was doing. I got on there and I was like, right, shit, this is a bit overwhelming.
In the game's defense, I didn't know there was a tutorial, and I've had all of the games since it came out.
Because it was the first time I'd ever played a Sins game, so I uninstalled the mod and just played the base game, did the tutorial and then installed Star Trek and still didn't understand how to play it. So it's one of them games I've played for about 10 hours.
Yeah, you can play that.
Um,
Yeah, even if it's like a 1-star system with 12 planets, it'll take some time.
Stand corrected, I've played it for 7.5 hours. So it's not a game that I've put too many hours into, but at the same time, it's one of them. I think to understand and play it properly, I would have to put a lot more hours into it, and I don't think I have the patience to do that.
I wonder, where is it for me? I have played 209 hours of
It's
Rebellion.
just sad.
Um,
Is there a way on Steam to see the game that you've played with the most hours?
I think you can filter it by sort by recent
I'm gonna have a
activity.
look
You know?
now. This should be interesting.
Sort by.
No, you can't do it by that, so I'm just gonna have to guess. No.
I think I know
You
what
carry
game
on
I've
talking.
played a lot. But yeah, that was my scandalous opinion, and you sort of disagreed, but you also agreed with, which kind of disarmed me.
Well, it's sort of one of those. I don't mind mods. I've got no issue with mods. Cheats, I only take issue with if it's on my first playthrough, because I just think, why would you bother doing a cheat on my first playthrough?
Yeah.
For example, Assassin's Creed, Black Flag in particular, that's got cheats on it.
Has
Never
it?
used them. Yeah, never
Oh,
used
you
them.
can lock them, can't you? Of course, yeah.
Yeah, you can
I've got
unlock
to
them.
admit, I used them, but I, I take issue with some games which say you can activate the cheats, but you will not progress, and you're like, then what's the point? You know?
Yeah, you can activate cheats, but you won't unlock any medals or trophies or anything, which is sort of fair enough, I would say.
Sort of, I guess.
I think it's just one of them. It's a bit of a shitty way to lock people out of using them, but I think the worst one is you can't save when you've done a cheat, which I think is what Red Dead Redemption does,
Yeah.
or
Oh,
Red Dead 2.
Red Dead 1 had
Because,
some cheats in it. It had like unlimited
well,
ammunition
I
and
think
stuff like that.
I think RDR2 is into if you use a cheat, you then can't save the game,
Yeah.
which just seems a bit ridiculous, really.
I think though, there's a few reasons why they do that. I guess it's so that people play the game honestly. But I think they should allow you to, or to create a separate
Yeah.
save file. You know, have you're on it force the creation of a cheat file.
Yeah, I can't think of a reason why they wouldn't let you just have an extra file, because you
Yeah.
can make multiple saves, but then the idea that you can't then save the game just sounds a bit pointless.
It
Like, well,
really
what's
is.
the point in actually using the cheats then?
Exactly.
I thought Star Trek Online would have been more than that.
My Star
I mean,
Trek.
it's still quite high,
How much is it?
just under 50 hours on the Steam version. But I know I've played it on Arc as well.
I haven't played Steam version yet. I've played it on console, where it's a mess.
See, I don't really play it on the console. I struggle with the console one because it just lags so much.
Oh, it didn't lag with me.
but
It
the
was. I tried to play it with my brother, and it just would not at all keep us in the same session. It used to do that with.
Hmm.
There was so many games that used to do that actually.
I found the game I've played the most as well on Steam.
Go on.
Total War 2 or Total War Medieval 2, 115 hours.
I'm still scouting through. So far, I've got 2, which are very close. I've got Rebellion, which is 200 hours, and then I've got the Homeworld series at 108.
Yeah.
And
See, this is the difference. I mean,
must have just left that in a pause menu or something for a while, because I doubt there's 108 hours of gameplay.
Well, you seem to play a lot more PC strategy games, whereas I don't, because I find some of them just endlessly tedious. Or so impenetrable that you'd have to spend 40 hours playing it before you understand any of the rules, which just don't seem enjoyable to me.
I like a good strategy though. Men of War Assault Squad, I've got 70 hours racked up in that. I love that sort
I'm
of
glad
stuff.
you didn't say. I'm glad you didn't say time sync, because then I was just about to kick off at you.
Prison Architect's
because-
got a few. Prison Architect's got 134.
41.
Bannerlord? I've got Mountain Blade games.
Never played it. But then, in comparison, I know for a fact I've got way more trophies on the PlayStation. I play a lot more PlayStation than you do.
Yes.
So whereas I lag on the PC stuff mainly because I only play on a laptop that's 2 years old, barely any RAM in it. I actually installed a
Yeah,
new
you have
piece
to
of
put
RAM the
some
other
in
day,
there.
but
I can't believe I've
yeah.
got 40 hours on the Stanley Parable somehow.
How do I see on the PlayStation app, which I'm looking at because I want to prove a point.
I'm trying to find. I've not got. You're right. I haven't got many like. I've got a few RTS games, but I've got a fair few real times. I mean, not RTS.
See, the only game I play
RPG.
on the
I've got
laptop.
a few RPG games. I've got Domino, which is a good game. Got Original Sin,
See,
which is.
the only games I've actually got on my laptop are other ones I've got installed. I mean, it's a very short list. Return of the Obra Dinn, which I still haven't played properly yet because I keep playing it for a little bit and then having to come off for it.
Is that the black and
Which
white
then
one where
means that
you like solving a crime?
sort of
You
it's
look in a
not really
book, you've
black
got
and
a
white, but
clock.
yeah, it's on a ship.
Yeah.
It is such a good game. It honestly is so brilliant.
I've seen play. I've just beaten it. Warhammer Total War 2. 222 hours and 6 minutes.
Nice.
I
I can guarantee if I was to look at how much time I've played the Assassin's Creed Ezio trilogy, I would dwarf all of your Steam completely. Because I play that trilogy at least. I must play it all the way through at least once every 1.5, 2 years.
XCOM 2's 160 hours.
Never got into the XCOM games.
To be honest with you, once
Played
you start modding it, its load times go through the fucking roof, and about a third of that
now,
must be me waiting.
see, this is a thing because when we're talking gaming, I game on console, so I don't really get the option to mod. I can only mod on my laptop, obviously.
It's an advantage that I think computers will always have, which is you can mod stuff.
But I don't really see the need to. I mean,
some games
when you're
don't
looking
need
at
it.
I would say the majority of games don't. There's only a handful that I could say definitely need mods. And it's sort of a massive open world games that are done by Rockstar and Bethesda. They're the only games I can really think of that genuinely actually need mods to look good or better.
Yeah, there's always lighting packs that come out after a couple of months, isn't there? Where somebody's just gone,
Yeah.
Why didn't you just do this in the first place? Yeah.
Well, yeah, the Bethesda ones in particular look shit.
Fallout
Let's be
4,
fair.
Fallout 4 was the one where people just went, this looks terrible.
Well, I mean, even Skyrim at the end of the day, as much as it's a great game, the base game is really quite poor.
Yeah. Unless you were sticking to the story.
Modded it, you're not getting a good experience.
Yeah.
No, because even the story, it's good, but it's not great.
It's not even a story. It's the usual generic bollocks. Guy who's a nobody turns out to be a somebody, learns to be a better person. If you follow the assassins thing, ends up killing the emperor because who already knew he was going to be killed.
Let's look at it this way, and if that's a bad thing to do, so to have sort of a generic style story, which is a fair enough opinion. I do think Skyrim is a bit generic and a bit like the story could have been way better. But then you've got games like Watch Dogs Legion, which is a great game, but the story is not really a story. Because you've only got like a mission end goal, and you play as anybody, which just don't really work for me.
And we both predicted
I don't know
who
if
the
you
main
found
villain
that
was
bit.
before we finished the game. We both knew it was going to be Tart from the beginning. A game which doesn't give you a story. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called Kenshi. It's
heard of it. I can't remember it.
You start off as a character. It dumps you in a place and then tells you nothing. That's it. You're a bloke. You've got a dog. If you want, you've got a sword. You're on an alien planet. Go nuts. You can start a tribe. You can become a town guard, or as a lot of my playthroughs first started out as, you will take 6 steps outside of the first town, get killed by the first roaming group of bandits, and then have to restart. Or I tried to start farming one point, and start like a market and a trade center, but I started doing it using just one character, so all my town folk who I had control over, which you do get control over, all died of starvation, and then people came in, looted their corpses, and ran away, and my town just burned to the ground. It's one of those. It doesn't give you a task. It just says, "Here you go." But that game also gets mods or edits. You can edit your save files. Or people have created new starts. So technically mods, but more add-ons. There are cheats for it. Trust me, I've used them. I made my own, actually. I found the files which give items credits and abilities and all that, and I just created a god item. The only problem was the moment I started using it, his limbs all exploded, and you were just this bit of corpse rolling around on the floor. And I couldn't figure out why giving somebody unlimited health would make his head explode and his arms fly off at the speed of light, but that happened.
It's always nice.
Always nice. But it turns into a lot of micromanaging in the end. The grander it gets. But I don't think it has an end game, or if it does have an end game, I don't fucking know what it is. But that had an awesome mod, which was basically a total war mod. Because there's 2 very large factions. One is basically robot zombies, and the other one is like a Knights Templar. And it basically made both of those 2 having a big old Barney constantly throughout the map. Like there was a big war going on. Because the map, I don't think, is that big. It's just difficult to cross. And battles back in the... way back when, would span miles. Well, not during medieval terms, but, once you hit muskets and everything, they would go on for miles. Battle of Waterloo was over a huge area. And it just makes it a bit... It just gives it... I like... There's some games where walking around absolutely fuck all is designed for the game to add atmosphere to it. Like... There's got to be a game that I can remember that has nothing in it for a reason. I want to say Stalker or Metro, because they don't have much in them. They're nothing like the books, but they're also based in a barren wilderness.
Trying to think of a game that I can think of that's generally got nothing going for it.
No, nothing in it, but it works.
Oh. Not sure.
Because
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I
because
guess.
there's no story in that game. There's no.
No, you're instantly
There's
ripped
no
off by
sort of.
a badger or whatever it is, a raccoon.
It's a raccoon,
Yeah.
crying out loud. Get it right. I'm
Sorry.
gonna come and take a shitload of money off you now. Yeah, I think Animal Crossing it's literally nothing, but it works because it gives you this is such a weird thing. But obviously, when it came out during lockdown in the UK,
Yeah.
Obviously it came out at a time when we weren't allowed to go outside, we weren't allowed to go be with friends and family.
Animal Crossing came out before lockdown by a year.
No, it came out during. Came out during.
Are you
It was
sure?
last year.
Are you
We've
really
been
sure?
in lockdown since last year.
We have been in lockdown since last year, but Animal Crossing's been
I'm
out
about
before
the first. No, came out in March or May of last year, and we went into lockdown in March.
Animal Crossing released. Oh, what's this one called? It's New Horizons, isn't it?
New Horizons, 20th of March 2020. We went into lockdown on the 18th of March. No, sorry, the 8th of March, sorry, is when we first went into lockdown.
It can't have been
Because
released then.
Yeah,
People doing
because we went into lockdown. We went into lockdown 3 days after my birthday.
Oh yeah, but it's more
in the UK.
It came out before then. I'm sure it did. People were doing videos on it all the time.
People were doing videos. That don't mean it were out. It were the same people who did videos on Fallout 76 slamming it before it came out. So
Yeah, but slamming Fallout 76 was easy.
yeah, but they were doing that before the game even came out, which
Yeah,
is
true.
ridiculous.
Yeah, you shouldn't slam a game. You should just say
Uh,
this game isn't
What,
built
what you
yet.
well, what you forget in there about is the fact that just because a game isn't out doesn't mean game reviewers or people on YouTube don't get the game beforehand and play it and do videos.
True.
The game came out on the 20th of March last year, so obviously we were in lockdown at that point.
I
So
just didn't think. I
the
thought
point
it
was,
came out before then. I was sure it came out before
no,
then.
nope.
Eh.
No, because it got delayed. It was supposed to come out in December.
Oh, is
I
that
think.
why? Did I?
I think it was December.
Right. Okay. Because I remember people getting really excited about the release footage and all that.
Oh, it was delayed. I know that. It was definitely delayed.
Anywho,
No idea.
it's now tomorrow.
8 minutes past tomorrow.
So I'm going to say it's been lovely. Yet again, a scandalous opinion we both agreed on, some strangely. Maybe not to the same extent, which is lovely. I may have to think of something deliberately out there next time to get you to really go, no, no, no. No, 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 no. I just can't think of what that would be.
You can try.
Why
A lot of my opinions on
male
gaming
gamers insist on playing as females? That might be something, because I don't understand that fucking shit. It doesn't make
because
any
I hate
difference. That don't make any difference.
You're talking to the wrong person because I can't stand it. I don't understand why Assassin's Creed now has to have a male and female character. Just pick one and go with it. Don't give the people a choice.
Oh no,
What's the point? Don't give them a choice.
if you're going to play as a male or a female, I think they should give them different storylines instead of just changing their skin and the character who's playing them. That is what I think.
But I mean, I don't see the point. I mean, Mass Effect is a prime example. I mean, that works with both because the entire series started giving you the option.
Yes.
Assassin's Creed didn't. Assassin's Creed started with a male protagonist and then carried on with male protagonist. And it made sense because it was Desmond playing his own ancestors, which does make sense.
Female ancestors because everybody's got mothers.
Yeah, but the sort of idea that it was following is physical bloodline of male sort of genes. So that you're going into like DNA, and then I can't be asked.
And then they killed Desmond, and everybody was like, "No, you can't do that."
Well, the thing is, they're still using DNA from Desmond to go back still.
Yeah.
So that's still how they're doing the anime stuff.
That's all bollocks. That can't be that. You know, if one family line had that much interaction with all those items, I'm pretty sure people would have found all of the items a lot quicker by now.
Possibly.
I mean,
possibly.
When he actually handled the apple, you're like, all right, all we have to do is stick with that memory. We don't have to. We don't have to do a 20-year run up to get to it.
I mean, the point of the matter is, I don't understand why you would need a specific gender. I don't see the point. I don't get it. I mean, it's one of them people made an uproar when they didn't have a female character, so then they added a female character, and it's like, oh, what's the difference? What are you actually getting from it? It's a game, for crying out loud. It's not real life. It's not actually happening. You know that, don't you?
I've got to say though, the women voice actors, especially in the Mass Effect series, and also probably in Odyssey, in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the female voice actors are so much better than the male ones.
I think they put a bit more work into the female voice actor for Odyssey, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
Cynical opinion, I do think they put more work into that because they knew it was the first game where you could play as a female protagonist in the Assassin's Creed franchise. So I think they were like, right, okay, we need to properly nail this. Which obviously then made the male character not as good.
He was also a terrible bad guy.
I think that's the same regardless of which one you play as, to be fair, because Cassandra's bad guy is really poor as well.
He's not a good bad guy.
So if you do play as the male
he's just angry and loud and not even that good at fighting because he's killed by a single arrow to the back in a very...
It's the same if you play as Alexia. So if Cassandra's a bad guy, she's crap. She's loud and just pointless as well. So it's the exact same issue for both of them. But playing as Cassandra, you get a better style of audio from her,
Yes.
sort of.
I think.
But yeah, no,
I think playing as.
yeah, I don't understand why guys play as females on games. It confuses me.
Like I said, if they made the
I don't
storylines
really,
different,
to be
I
honest.
think if they made the storylines different, the
If they
ability
made
is different.
storylines, yeah, but then you get into a situation where it's like they're going to have to make the story shorter because they've got to make double the amount.
Well, Syndicate had two. They had a female and a male, a brother and a sister, and they had different skill
Syndicate.
sets.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah.
And they had different
Well,
skill
yeah,
sets.
but that
meant
worked because
different gameplay styles.
that worked because you could jump between them both, though.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you could play both of them as the other.
Yeah.
So you weren't locked into a specific one. You could play them both as the other. So that was sort of like, I think that sort of worked though, because it was sort of like you could jump between them at any point, other than when you're in a mission, which made sense.
I can't.
But
Speaking of jumping between, there was a game where you could jump between any soldier on a battlefield. I can't remember what that was. Anyway, that's beside the point. I think if they're gonna do it, don't just change the skin and the voice. Change how the game works.
I can't think of a game where I actually play as a female. Obviously, there's Odyssey, but I think that's the only one. I played Dishonored 2 as the daughter, whatever her name was, just because I played the first one as the
Well, you only have the one option.
Corvo or something.
Corvo. It's just him.
No, you can pick between Corvo or the female, but I thought it was more interesting to play as a female because it was sort of like a continuation of, well, he trained her, but now he's trapped, so let's play as her. Or you could swap it around and you could play as him and she'd be trapped. And I'm like, well, no, because he was the hero of the first game, so let's continuation on that. And now the hero's trapped, so let's go off and try to fix it.
We'll pick this up in my next one. Okay?
Okay.
Because I've got to go to bed. Is the upshot, mate. Got to go. It's been a pleasure.
Have fun.
I've been Inverted Over. Like, subscribe. Yeah. He's been James, and what's his face? Do you want to say bye-bye?
Yeah.
Go on.
See you later.
Toodles.
That right.
Was that it?